would last over the summer.
Totally, yeah. It was never a huge hit. I mean, when we like tested the pilot, like it tested okay, and like a lot of people hated it, and like we had to like there's just some stuff that like we didn't get. They were like, if they originally started, the pilot started out with like this flashback to it. Actually, you didn't know it till the end, but it was actually like Will's memory of like his being at like sectionals in like 1994 or whatever. And to me, it was just like very, very funny. Like watching a show choir perform is just like, it like takes a lot out of you, because it's like there's just a lot going on, just like the outfits and like the earnestness and like the acne, and like it's everything. And I think that's actually the appeal of it. It's actually what I like about the show. Is that like the experience, I think on good episodes of like watching our show, like that it is like, it's kind of funny and heartwarming and sad and really sincere, and then like kind of embarrassing sometimes, and sometimes you're like, oh my god, like I can't believe they said that, and like, oh, like a little cringeworthy. Like that's actually the experience of like watching like 15-year-olds sing like an Elton John medley. Like it's amazing for all the wrong reasons. Anyway, there was like there's this like choir at the beginning, and like to us, I didn't realize it was such like inside baseball. Like we were really surprised of like how many dials, as soon as they they just all these, and almost all the men just were like over to like negative. We're like, oh my god. And we didn't, it's because we hadn't winked at the audience yet. Like we hadn't said like, it's really okay for you to laugh at these characters whenever you want to.
During the test screening.
Yeah, so like, but it was stuff like that it was never like a slam dunk. Like and then we knew, we were like, well god, okay, like we have this great lead in, and it's the perfect pairing, but like if they're about to end and we're about to start, like shit, like that sucks. Like and then the numbers were good, they weren't like mind-blowing, they were what was expected, but I think it was still people were like, well geez, like I hope this doesn't crash and burn. And then it was weirdly, and I really credit like Joe Early at Fox in the marketing department, who like,
he's the head of the PR at Fox.
Yeah, just like, and has a whole fantastic team, but he's just the one that we deal with most. And like I think he among people like really sniffed something out. He was just like, and as the time went on, because they had said like, no, like it's gonna be good, like you're gonna put it out there, and then like it'll kind of like simmer, and like because your audience is now, that's sort of how you get to them, like get to them through Facebook and shit, all of which seems like total fucking like nonsense to like when you're like, no, we just worked really hard on the show, like it was like a $7 million pilot, like, can you just like put some weight behind it please? And then like and they're like and then it just like worked, like their idea.
Well, your audience was the people who run Facebook and Twitter.
Totally, yeah, it just like worked, and I was like, you fucking geniuses, like you totally figured it out. And they knew like before when we came back, like because a couple weeks before, like through like magic, they can figure out what like how a show's gonna do, and it was like, then a couple weeks before, like Joe Early was like, I think we're all gonna be really pleased, like this gamble really paid off. And then
what was it like during the year? I mean, the shows, like you said, started well, but then the momentum built, and all of a sudden you're on cover of these magazines, and then there's the Gleeks, and they're traveling around the world, and they're doing a world tour, the cast is going out. What was it like kind of being in the middle of that hurricane, that press hurricane, as everything was going on?
It was weird. I mean, it's one thing, like, I think the kids actually have it harder. I call them kids. That's like really condescending. I don't mean it that way. That's just like the shorthand we use. Like the adults and the kids are like how we talk about the actors. But I think and Matthew and Jane, like I think they, because they're the faces of stuff, like they get it worse than we do as far as like the annoying part of like being bothered or whatever, but like nobody knows who I am, so it's great. So you like get all the credit, and like nobody bothers you, and you like still go to like the gym or whatever. Therefore it still feels very surreal to me. Like it doesn't feel, it sort of feels like somebody else's life in a way, or like it's just this thing.